Good evening, everybody. My name is Robin Piper, and I wanted to thank you for joining me for this great webinar tonight about exploring Africa and everything that you need to know before you go. I am the Business Development Manager for the Globus family of brands, and I'm working tonight in partnership with Cruise Holidays of Kansas City. I'm sure many of you are very familiar with the folks at Cruise Holidays, and I apologize for my dog. While we want to discuss travel for Africa and tours and different things, I could talk about this subject for hours and hours, but I think what's most important is that tonight we want to try and put you in a position where you determine if Africa is a great destination for you, some choices that you have along the way in the planning process, and what you might need to know before you go. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so first and foremost, I do want to mention, just do a quick mention about the Globus family of brands. Some of you might be familiar with us. We started over 9 decades ago in 1928, and we're the world's most highly awarded tour operator. We strive every day to bring guests like yourself an excellent travel experience, whether it's an inspiring national park here in the U.S., or if it's more off the beaten path in, say, Italy or Ireland, or whether it's sailing the rivers of Europe. We want to bring the best possible opportunity for you. And this is just a sampling of the 4 brands that we offer. They're each a unique style of travel. And no matter where you're going, we pretty much can take you anywhere in the world. So I just wanted to keep you familiar with who we were. This is not going to be all about Globus tonight. It's truly going to be more about just making that great travel decision to travel to Africa. So we know that a trip to Africa is a chance to see and do new things. And so you have many choices when you want to start planning your adventure. For example, what regions do you want to visit? What animals do you want to see? What style of travel is best for you? Do you like escorted travel or something more independent? And what style of accommodations do you prefer? Do you like tented camps? Do you like hotels? Do you like lodges? I hope by the end of today you'll learn that you want a little bit of everything. And what is the best time of year to accomplish all of this? So we'll go over those topics tonight and really learn a lot more about the Serengeti National Park, Masai Mara National Reserve, some of these great places where you can experience all that Africa has to offer. So you have many choices when it comes to planning your Africa vacation, but you should start any vacation with a call to the folks at Cruise Holidays of Kansas City. The team at Cruise Holidays can tailor your vacation to meet your needs, not what I want you to do on vacation, but what you want to do on vacation, and really making it an unforgettable experience. And I think it's important to note, some of you might have heard Mark Comfort on KCMO on Saturdays, or maybe you've been to one of the shows, but Mark himself has been to Africa, I believe, 4 times, and is very good about training his staff. He has lots of different vendors. He and Mimi have lots of different vendors that come in, so they can also help you plan your next adventure. So, Africa by region. I know this can kind of be overwhelming when you're trying to determine what part of Africa is best for you. And many people look at the weather forecast to just determine when and where they want to travel. But remember, the weather is similar to what we have here in North America. There's just different times of the year that it might be rainier or it might be a little drier. So what we want for U.S. travelers to do is really focus on some great areas. We find that travel really focuses around Botswana, Kenya, South Africa, Tanzania, and Zimbabwe. So we'll talk a little bit about each of these regions. Botswana, as you can see on the map here, is more in the southern region, and it's nestled between South America, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and Zambia. And the Republic of Botswana is a land of stark beauty and tremendous contrast. Although it's dominated by the Kalahari Desert, which is the largest stretch of sand on Earth, Botswana is also home to the life-sustaining Okankava Delta, which of course brings water, and water is life. And whenever you have animals that you're trying to bring to your region, right? So that's a big part of who Botswana is. Just a couple of quick notes here that you can see about the time of year and the different weather. The country itself is sparsely populated, and as a result, it contains some of the most pristine and uninterrupted wildlife habitats on the continent. It's home to the Chobe National Park, which features the biggest concentration of African elephants in the world. And Botswana is also ideal for spotting elephants, zebras, hippos, and rhinos. Plus, you will also find cheetahs, Cape buffalo, blue wildebeest, and over 400 species of birds, and even a black-maned lion, and the reclusive leopard. So really, Botswana is a great kind of, all-encompassing. You can see a lot of things for, most of the year. Next, we're going to go over to the East Coast and visit Kenya. And Kenya is situated right there on the equator, and it's home to the colossal Mount Kenya, which is 17,057 feet high. The Republic of Kenya is a country that will quickly capture your heart because of its unforgettable landscapes, its colorful native people, and the bustling city scene, and some of the best safari territory in the world. And I think it's very interesting because of how many people, the sheer amount of people, as you're going through each of the regions, you'll see some of them are just more sparsely populated than others. Kenya is pretty densely populated. And in Kenya, it is a place where you'll find yourself hand-feeding giraffes one moment, and then in a marvelous, brilliant, looking up at the sky, looking at the beautiful constellations the next. So it's got a little bit of everything. There's rolling savannas, and then soaring highlands, windswept moors, sparkling lakes, and a beautiful coastline and life-sustaining farmland from sunup to sundown. You'll also have beautiful noises of Africa. And, it's not a sound. If there was a soundtrack of Africa, it would be the birds chirping and the elephants trumpeting and the felines roaring and the baboons chattering, the zebras barking, all these great things. And then in the background, you'll also hear chanting tribesmen. So truly a unique experience. One of the things I do like to point out about Kenya is that there's about 3 months that are kind of rainy. So you've got April, May, and November. But it's typically going to be a dry climate almost year-round with sunshine almost every day. And the nights do get a little chillier because of the high elevations. So that's to be understood. Now, moving on to South Africa. This is the southernmost country in Africa, and it's the cradle of civilization. South Africa is one of the planet's most remarkable tapestries of nature, wildlife, history, and culture. And it's the site of some of the oldest civilizations in the world, and is unmatched with multiculturalism. So if you want something that's a little bit of both, where you're going to have these fantastic cities like Johannesburg, and then you can still do game drives, on day 3 or day 4 of your vacation. This is a very comprehensive type of place to visit, because you're going to get a little bit of everything. And I do find it interesting. There are actually 3 capitals of the country of South Africa. There's one for judicial, there's one for the people. So you've got a lot of different things going on in South Africa. It is our most popular destination for our safaris and for our African travel. South Africa also recognizes 11 official languages, which is more than any other country in the world. And it's a place where exotic wildlife awaits. The famed Big Five, as well as cheetahs, hippos, giraffes, penguins, whales. You can actually go whale watching in South Africa, sharks, crocodiles, and the really famous. They're becoming more and more famous. The leatherback sea turtles, and a jaw-dropping amount of wild birds and different species. And they have a rugged coastline that lead into the mountains and then forests, some deserts, farmland, and of course, colorful cities. I like this for so many different reasons. South Africa is on my bucket list. I have not been there yet, but it is certainly something that the more I learn and the more I travel around the world, the more I learn about how amazing South Africa is. Our next stop is going to be Tanzania. And Tanzania is bordered by, you can see it over here kind of in the corner, bordered by Uganda and Kenya and Congo, Rwanda, Mozambique, and Zambia, and the Indian Ocean. So you do have that coastal experience as well. So you might want to keep that in mind. And when you're traveling to this region, it's important to know that this wasn't always the name of this region. It actually became Tanzania in 1964, and it is really a paradise of magnificent scenery, culture, wildlife, and adventures. And within its borders, there are treasure trove of amazing attractions like the Serengeti, Mount Kilimanjaro, the Great Rift Valley, and the ideal beaches of the Zanzibar area. And the country has a distinct geography that has a little bit of everything from mountains to deserts and rivers and lakes and islands and tropical rainforests, even volcanoes and waterfalls. And then, of course, you have the red-clad Maasai warriors and the semi-nomadic tribesmen who really bring all of this to life. They bring their culture, they bring their traditions, and really an unforgettable impression upon anybody who visits. And this is also because of the year-round water supply. It is a great site for the Great Migration, as they call it, which is one of the greatest natural spectacles in the world. They have millions of zebras, buffalo, wildebeests congregating, and then they of course have resident elephants and giraffes, lions, cheetahs, leopards, hippos, rhinos, tons of birds, and it makes it one of the most popular travel destinations on the continent. Last but not least, I did want to spend a little bit of time on Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe was formerly known as Rhodesia, and it borders Botswana, South Africa, and Mozambique. So it doesn't have coastal land, but it does have a lot of other things that are very interesting about it. There's a lot of biblical reference to this region because it was once believed to be the ancient land of Ophir, which is mentioned in the Bible. This is where King Solomon received regular shipments of precious resources like ivory and gold. And Zimbabwe was once the highway for trade between the Portuguese and the Arabs. And today, this South Central African nation brings visitors with a different treasure, which is the awe-inspiring Victoria Falls, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world. So between its rich culture, its fantastic people, and all that it has to offer, it really is another great destination for you to explore. So just a couple other things about Zimbabwe. They do have a drier season from April to October with cooler temps. Excuse me. And the rainy season is a little longer in the Zimbabwe area, so from November to March, but definitely well worth it. And I know with our company and with many companies that offer Africa, you can usually add on Victoria Falls to a lot of your tours. So maybe you're going during a season that's a little rainier in Zimbabwe, so you don't want to go there for your safari portion. Maybe you want to go there just to see the falls, and that's very popular as well. So it's your vacation that you're planning or that you're dreaming about. So what is your travel style? we've discussed the different regions, but I wanted to talk about the style that is best for this adventure, because you just don't normally go out and do it on your own when you're in Africa, but there are different levels of being out on your own. And at Globus, we offer 2 styles of travel to Africa. Small group discoveries with no more than 20 guests, traveling together with a professional tour director, professional driver, and local guides when needed throughout your stay. And then we also offer a more independent style of travel with our Monograms product. These tours are led by a local host with semi-private and private touring throughout the day. And both versions for us include game drives. So that's really an important thing. I'd love to say at the end of the day that you'll all travel with us to Africa someday. It's very possible. But I wanted to tell you about a couple of the different choices. And touring really is one of the best ways to see the world. And when you're comparing companies, it's important to remember that not all tour companies are created equally. And at Globus, we offer more than just a vacation. We offer the whole journey. And we have packed everything up so that you have it all in one neat, tidy package. So let's talk a little bit about what separates a good tour from a great tour. I, of course, think that the Globus Way is a great tour. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what we include. And when it's time for you to make your decision, I want you to make sure that you are comparing that all these things are included. So, of course, we offer sightseeing to all the major attractions. In fact, we offer more included features and behind-the-scenes local experiences than any other tour operator. Plus, you get special VIP access at all the must-see sites. So you don't stand in line when you're with us, which is a great feeling. With Globus, you travel in the company of genuine local experts. Our tour directors and local guides are actually from the regions where we're traveling. So along the way, they will share with you their vast knowledge from history to, if you're in one of the larger cities, architecture, but also about the animals and about the tribesmen and about the history and politics and all different sorts of things to really help you get the most out of your vacation. And then from culinary highlights, we tailor these to each tour. It might be a dinner in the bush in the Serengeti to dinner in a popular restaurant in Cape Town, so that you can experience the destination's culture through its cuisine. That's probably one of my favorite things that I do when I travel is I learn more about what the country has to offer through their food. And we start each day with an included breakfast. And while in cities, we'll have a mix of included lunches and dinners, and also some time to allow you to go out and explore on your own and taste the local fare. And then while you're on safari with our brands, you will have breakfast, lunch, and dinner included, because obviously that's part of the experience, and it's not like you can just, run down the street and grab a sandwich. Our accommodations are selected for their comfort and their beauty and their proximity to key sites. And this really is important because you want to make sure you're in the right spot, right? You don't want to be too far away so that every day is a challenge. But also remember, you want private bathrooms, and we offer private ensuite bathrooms, and we include tips and baggage handling wherever we go. And throughout your journey, you'll also have some transportation that needs to be taken care of. We offer rugged safari vehicles. They're four-wheelers. We offer deluxe motor coaches, minibuses, planes, whatever we need to do to accommodate you to get you from place to place, we will do so. And I'll talk a little bit more about those vehicles and what to expect on a safari in a few minutes. And then plus we also have our local favorites that are kind of behind the scenes things. This might be something that is like we go to a chimpanzee orphanage and you get to kind of interact with the animals, or it might be a special dance performance. These are always included, they're never extra, and typically they're one of the things that you talk about the most when you get back from your vacation. And then we also offer some optional excursions. Maybe it is whale watching, or a winery tour in Cape Town, or a helicopter ride over Victoria Falls. All these types of things can be customized and can be selected from what we offer. And plus, we have a wide variety of game drives, both morning and afternoon, in open air four-wheel drive vehicles, so that you can take great photographs and you can really experience what you came for. So like I said, I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So I just want to give you kind of a sample of what you might expect in an itinerary. So, Splendors of South America and Victoria Falls is one of our most popular itineraries. It includes visits to the Cape Point Natural Reserve, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, known for its flora and fauna. We also go to Bow Cap, which is a lively area founded by former slaves, and learn about their culture. But this 12-day experience is a small group discovery. Like I said, only 20 people maximum on the tour. It's a moderate pace. You'll notice we start where the green arrow or the green circle is, that's Cape Town, and then we make our way through, staying a couple of nights in each spot. This one is primarily done by airplane because of the great distance that we have to cover. So that's important to remember. We have 6 game drives, 23 meals included, and it operates year-round. And then you can always do extensions into other areas as well. And what I love is the price point per person per night, just $357 with all of these great inclusions. Really is a fantastic value for your dollar. And your journey throughout this area, on this tour, you'll also go to a private game reserve, which is near Kruger National Park. Like I said, you'll have 6 different game drives, and your professional ranger and skilled tracker will help you search for the remarkable species, including 42 different mammals and 350 bird species. So this is where you'll have a great chance to see the Big 5, which is the lion, the leopard, the elephant, the rhino, and the Cape buffalo. So you want to make sure you have your camera ready, because you also, on this tour, very often see impala and giraffes and hippos and spotted hyenas and wildebeest and so many more. And you'll even get to do one of those famous sundowner drinks in the bush. And other highlights include, while you're in Johannesburg, you'll also do the Apartheid Museum and visit where Nelson Mandela lived, and just some really neat guided walking tours of the falls when you're in Victoria Falls. And like I said, we also do have the flyover with the helicopters if you want to do that. And I think it's interesting because Victoria Falls is roughly twice the size of Niagara Falls. So if you've done that one before and you are in awe of that, imagine what they have in store for you at Victoria Falls. Perhaps you prefer to forge your own way, but you don't want to miss anything. For folks like that, I suggest Monograms. That's a great choice for you. Each package is carefully designed with your independence in mind, but it also offers special services to make sure you never feel alone. So with our Monograms product, we do an all-in-one personalized package with Monograms, and it's really full of must-see, amazing experiences, and brings you a vacation with low stress, the perfect combination for a vacation. Low stress and lots of must-sees. That's what I'm always looking for. You have a local host, which is an expert in your area, and they'll help you on where to dine, where to shop, and a lot of hidden gems that maybe you didn't even know existed before you left. And then while traveling, you'll also be joined by professional guides, guide drivers for the game drive, and also professional rangers when you're on the drive. Each day will start off with a healthy, hearty breakfast that is included at your at your hotel. And then for lunch, your host will give you great suggestions for dinner. Sometimes while you're on safari, or when you're on safari, dinner would be included. And even for the most independent travelers, we really want to give you a great selection of hotels. So while you're on Globus, you have hotels and tented luxury camps, and you have lodges. You have the same kind of choices when you're with Monograms. So that's really important because you're going to want a wide range of experiences depending on where you're at in your adventure. Of course, transportation, we all know, is more than getting just from point A to point B, and we include all of that with your packages. So it could be intra-vacation air, it could be bus transportation, it can be whatever we need to do to get you from point A to point B. And like the Globus brand, we offer a wide range of optional excursions. And then we also do many game drives with monograms as well. So sometimes you can do up to 8 game drives in a monograms package. So I wanted to go over very quickly one of our most popular monograms packages, which is the Kenya Private Safari. This is an 8-day itinerary round trip from Nairobi. You have 7 game drives and 19 meals included. It does operate year-round as well, and it's just $100 more per person per night. But these are much smaller groups. So if you're traveling with a group of 4, you would be your group of 4. If you're traveling with a group of 8, you would be your group of 8. Whereas with the other option, it'd be a small group, but still 20 people. So just keep that in mind. I adore this style of travel for many parts of the world, but in Africa, we really have some great benefits with the private and semi-private. So I think it's a great option for a lot of folks. And you know, from the moment you arrive in Nairobi at the airport, you don't have to deal with anything with monograms. You'll be met with a sign with your name on it, be transported to your hotel, you'll get breakfast daily, and here you'll also do, like I said, game drives. So you'll have Cape buffalo, zebra, wild dog, giraffe. You'll even, like I talked about, visiting the chimp sanctuary. You'll get to go there where you get to interact with the orphaned and abused chimpanzees. And then you'll have the opportunity to see pink flamingo and white rhino and water buck and impala before heading to the Masai Mara Natural Reserve, which is Kenya's most favorite game reserve. And here you'll be on the lookout for the elephant and the rhino and the gazelles. And really, it is an amazing mix of the large cities and these great game drives. So if you haven't been on a safari before, you might be wondering what a typical day on safari is. And very few of us have actually had the thrill of what that is. So I thought I might discuss what to expect. And while there's no way to predict 100% of what will happen each day, as nature is always full of wonderful surprises, changes might occur, might need to be implemented because of weather or animal movements, or simply because of something spontaneous that has happened, and your guide and your tracker want you to be able to appreciate it. So there are days where full game drives are necessary as a part of the transition between destinations. So this is just a typical day, what I'm going to kind of review here next. So usually on any drive day, you have a choice in the morning, or there'll be a couple of choices. One is the early morning drive, which it's essential to head out early in most of these places because that's when the animals are the most active. So on the early morning drives, you might get up about 5:30. You get coffee and maybe a small Danish, and you depart about 6 a.m. You've got 3 hours for the drive, and then you return to camp for a lavish breakfast. Then there's also just the regular morning drive, which starts a little later. You might wake up at 6. Breakfast is served before you go, and then you depart around 7 or 7:30, and the drive lasts for 3 to 4 hours. So that's usually what you have a choice of in the morning. Then when you come back in the afternoon, this is a great time that you want to relax. You might want to read a book or take a nap or even go for a swim. Lunch is usually served from 12 to 2, and then that afternoon you'll head out again. This allows you to see animals during the daylight, but you'll also be able to witness the spectacular African sunset. You will have time to freshen up before dinner, and so moving back for just a second. So the second game drive of the day will be in the afternoon, usually between 3 and 4. The last 3 or 4 hours, you'll get back to the lodge by about 7, and dinner will be served shortly thereafter. And dinner is always kind of a lively event because everybody's sharing the stories of what they saw and what they did that day, you know, what happened in their vehicle. And so it can get really lively. We also have a bar, you know, they set up a bar, you can get a drink before bed, but it's not late nights on the safari because you usually have early mornings. So, and that certainly helps you stay cooler as well. So we talked a little bit about accommodations, and I personally have a theory that you want to mix it up when you're on safari. And with both Globus and Monograms, we do offer fantastic accommodations, and that's an integral part of your stay because they're going to bring you different levels of happiness depending on where you are in your adventure. So we always want to make sure that our experts who hand select these hotels, our product team goes to Africa, goes to all the different regions, stays at the hotels, checks the hotels, stays at the luxury tented camps, looks for things that our American travelers want and need. And so we really want to try a combination of comfortable accommodations, top-notch service, and the best amenities while putting you right in the heart of Africa's most celebrated national parks and game reserves. So we have 2 types of accommodations, and I wanted to kind of go over those. With the lodges and camps, they'll typically have an outdoor pool because it is utilized by just about everybody, I think, before the end of the week, that you can take a dip and, you know, just cool off. There's always a spacious dining room area, a lounge area with a bar and a scenic view. Of course, this is a great part of your stay because there'll be laundry services and a gift shop to pick up something that you may have forgotten along the way or lost along the way. And then with our luxury tented camps or our hotel rooms, because remember, when you're in Cape Town or Johannesburg, you're going to be in hotels. These are going to have ensuite bathrooms with showers and hot water and bathroom amenities. There'll be an outdoor veranda for you, an in-room safe, or in some cases it might be at the front desk, but a place for you to put your valuables for sure, mosquito netting when necessary around your bed, and then a writing desk and chair. So these are kind of the standard things that we look for when we're selecting our accommodations. So as we grow to a close tonight, I do want to point out a couple of things because we've talked about a wide range of subjects related to planning your trip to Africa and which regions to visit and what styles of travel are best for you, what kind of accommodations. But I also want to make sure that you truly understand the power of utilizing a professional travel counselor, like the great team at Cruise Holidays. And this is a great picture of the folks there. They've been in business for, I believe, 40 years now. Mark and Mimi, you see their picture here. They are leaders within the travel agency community and certainly professional and personal friends of mine over the years. They really are great to work with. And I think it's important that you remember that every trip is important to you as a traveler, and you like to do your research, but when you have a travel professional on your side, every trip becomes important to them as well. So I would like to say, you know, travel globally and buy locally. It's a hassle-free way to plan your vacation. You still have all the input you possibly can think of, but they have the benefit of knowing multiple companies and multiple options and really get to know you so that you're put with the right company for the right vacation, and capitalize on their partnerships. I know from my company's standpoint, they have exclusive offers with us all the time that you can't get if you were just to call us directly. And that's really important because nobody wants to pay more for their vacation than they absolutely had to. And last but not least, I did want to put up here, give them a call. Their phone numbers are here. Many of you are already customers of Cruise Holidays, and some of you are already customers of Globus, so I thank you very much for that. But give them a call, start planning, and if you enjoyed this format for this informative little webinar, please join us. We're going to do another one on April 16th on Ireland and Scotland. So I thank you all very much for your time tonight. I don't see that I have any questions, but certainly if, let's see, oh, I do have a little question. Oh, I'm sorry, Angie, that was from earlier. Yes, I had a little bit of a issue with the webinar at the beginning, but no real questions about anything that we've gone over, but feel free to send those questions to the team at Cruise Holidays, and we'll get you the answers right away. Thank you so much and have a great night.